podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. Yes, it's Rich DeMuro again today, Sunday, November 10th, 2019. I'll be back next week, though. Thank you, Rich, for filling in. This is episode 1643. Enjoy. Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Plex. With Plex, you can organize and stream your personal collection of movies, TV shows, music, and photos anywhere on any device. Go to plex.tv/twit and enter the code TWIT10 to get $10 off a lifetime Plex Pass subscription. This offer applies to new subscribers only. And by Ringcentral. With Ringcentral, you'll get everything you need in one place for your business communication needs. With all-in-one cloud phone, video conferencing, and team messaging, staying connected has never been easier. Save with their holiday bundle offer and don't pay until 2020. Wow, when you go to ringcentral.com/techguy. And by FreshBooks, the #1 accounting software in the cloud for self-employed professionals and their teams. Make the running of your business simple and efficient with FreshBooks. Try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/techguy.
What's going on? I'm Rich DeMuro, and this is The Tech Guy, the show that talks about everything tech-related, from smartphones to computers, wearables to internet security, and whatever else you have that plugs in, charges up, or has a chip inside. My name is Rich DeMuro. I'm the tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles, filling in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation somewhere in the world. He's having a fantastic time. I know it. Thanks for joining me today. And if you know me from TV, you might know me as Rich on Tech. I am so happy to be taking the helm here today to take your calls and talk about all kinds of cool tech stuff. If you have a tech issue, maybe you need a recommendation, there's an app that you need to do something, or maybe you just want to tell me what you love or hate about your gadgets, I am here for you for the next couple of hours. I'm also the author of a book. It is called 101 iPhone Tips and Tricks. I just updated it for iOS 13. In fact, it's so up to date that I just re-updated the update because Apple changed a few things in iOS 13.22, whatever it's up to at this point. I talk about all the cool stuff you can accomplish with your iPhone. It's called 101 iPhone Tips and Tricks. It's available right now on Amazon, ebook and paperback, by the way. And yesterday, oh my gosh, I checked my email and I got a message that really saddened me. I almost didn't want to respond to this message because it was so sad. And it's the story of a mom losing her pictures of her newborn. Can you imagine? This is my worst fear with our digital age, losing all the pictures of my kids. My kids are 5 and 8. I've got lots of pictures of them, believe me. So let me read you the email and I'll tell you what my thoughts are here. It says, please help me. I recently did a trade-off from my old iPhone 7 Plus to the 11 this Thursday. All my photos were supposed to have been transferred. None of my 2019 pics are there, which is when I had my newborn daughter. The old phone was completely swiped clean. It turned out my iCloud had reached its storage limit, and therefore no pics after 2018 were ever saved. Please tell me there is a way I can restore these precious pics. My daughter was born in March, and I have not even one photo of her saved. I'm having such a difficult time right now. Ugh, can you imagine? Just imagine all your pictures gone. The sad part is this is a reality for so many people I talk to. This is not the only email I get like this. I get emails like this all the time. Sometimes it works out and I tell people, hey, look here, look here, look here. Some of your pictures might be there. In this case, it doesn't sound like the pictures were anywhere else because the iCloud was so filled. I had a similar moment a couple years ago. I was going through my photo collection and I was scrolling all the way back to when my kid was born and I could not find any pictures of him in the hospital room. And I said, uh-oh, what's going on here? And thankfully, I found the pictures. I had them on an old hard drive somewhere in the house because basically I have all my pictures that I've ever taken on various hard drives. Even if I've imported them, I still can't format the hard drive or get rid of them. I just can't do it. So I got all my pictures back in, but I was like, I'm going to have a conversation with my wife and explain how in the world I, the tech guy, lost all of my pictures of my kid. That's going to be a tough conversation. Probably would have been sleeping on the sofa that night. Now, like I said, I got a bunch of hard drives laying around the house with photos on them. I think you got to back up your pictures. You got to back up your pictures. We hear everyone talk about backing up your computer. I get it. That's important. But photos are the most important thing you have. And at this point in time, there is no excuse why you shouldn't have them backed up somewhere. I talk to people, and a question I ask them, I say, hey, are your photos backed up? I think so. I'm pretty sure I've got them somewhere. What do you mean you're pretty sure? These are your most prized possessions. Now, iCloud is great if you have an iPhone, but it is so complicated. The mere mortal cannot figure it out. So the email mentioned that she discovered her iCloud ran out of space and there's no pics after 2018. So what I want you to do, go to your iPhone, go into your settings, go into iCloud, go into Photos, and make sure the toggle is turned on. And then underneath, make sure there's the option to optimize iPhone storage. That's very important because that means you can basically store unlimited photos on your iPhone as long as you have iCloud storage. I'm not going to get into how that works, but basically the iCloud keeps a tiny version of the photo on your phone so you can still see it, but realistically it's kind of working or keeping the storage clear on your phone so you can have all your pictures available at any time. So make sure that's on. Now, if you don't want to use iCloud Photos, you don't want to pay for all that, and you're going to use some other service, well, consider turning on the second option here, which is My Photo Stream. This is going to upload the last 30 days of your pictures to iCloud, which is kind of a rolling backup of the last 30 days worth of stuff that you took pictures of. This way, if your phone is damaged, you can still, and you have your regular backup, you won't lose your most recent pictures. So that would have helped out in this situation a little bit. And then the important part, you have to go into your Photos app and make sure that your photos are actually backed up. This woman said she didn't see if her photos were backed up since 2019. So, or 2018. You got to look and see. So go to your Photos and scroll all the way down until you see the numbers where it says how many pictures you have. Right now, my phone says 415 pictures, 105 photos, and it says upload pause for 536 items. That means that my pictures on my phone are not backed up to iCloud. Make sure that number gets to 0 and it says everything is backed up in iCloud. That's very important. Then you want to pick a third-party app. I don't care which one. I love Google Photos. It's really good at automatically backing everything up. It's free. It organizes your pictures. It helps you find them later. They have this new feature called Memories, which is really cool, that shows you old pictures that you're going to love. This works on iOS and Android. Now, on Android, it's super easy. You just download it. It works in the background. It's all good. Now, on iPhone doesn't like to do things in the background very easily, so you kind of have to watch it. Make sure, especially the first time that you download Google Photos to an iPhone, that you actually see your pictures go into Google Photos. And that means you got to open the app, pull down on your pictures, and look at the status of the backup. Make sure they're backing up. If you have Amazon Prime, try the Amazon Photos app. It lets you store unlimited photos at full resolution. Just keep in mind with that, you do have to keep your Prime membership active. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay because guess what? You're not going to want to get rid of all those pictures that you've taken the time to upload it. So they've got a system going on there, but it's fine. It's a terabyte for $60 a year if you ditch the Prime subscription. Probably cheaper to keep Prime in that case. Microsoft has something called OneDrive. You can use that. And then if you want to use a physical backup as well, which I also recommend, several ways to do that. There's this cool gadget called IBI. It's kind of a hard drive with a Wi-Fi connection. And this will download all of your pictures from your phone every night when you charge it. It will just pull them all from your phone. It'll also pull pictures from Facebook, Instagram, other places that you upload them. That's $180, and there's no monthly fees. That's super easy. And if you don't like the idea of the cloud, you just want something that you can stick into your phone, like a thumb drive, check out something called Sandisk I Expand. This is $25 for 32 gigs or about $75 for 256 gigs. You plug it into the lightning port on your phone, you open the app, it backs up all your pictures from your camera roll, and it's on the little flash drive. Then you can plug that flash drive into your computer, do whatever you want. But please, whatever you do, back up your photos. I don't want to get emails like this ever again. You are listening to the Tech Guy Radio Show. Once again, I'm Rich DeMuro, sitting in for Leo Laporte today. We've got phone lines open at 1-8888-ASK-LEO or 888-827-5536. Give me a call. We'll talk technology and have your calls up next. Welcome back to the Tech Guy Radio Show. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today, who is on vacation. Let's bring in my trusty sidekick today, Kim Schaffer, our call screener extraordinaire. Welcome, Kimmy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's been a pleasure working with you the last couple weeks. So.
I know. It's a long stretch.
It's good. And, I see you getting the hang of it, and
Well,
and
finally.
then it ends.
It's only been 2 years, you know.
No, but there's a big gap in between.
Thank you.
So no, you've done great.
But the equipment, you know, it's like yeah. I'm learning, so I think it's getting better every time. I hope so. But it is fun. The underlying theme is that it's really fun to do this. It is fun. So we're getting some calls from folks, and who should we talk to?
And actually, you know, yesterday we had accessibility questions for the visually impaired, and we've actually got 2 calls, line 3 and 4, Jim and Ed, that have some recommendations on that. So if you want to go through those and maybe get their take, I believe they are blind and use these products, so they have some authority.
All right, let's go to Jim. Thanks, Kim.
Rich.
Thanks, Kim. Let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim. You're on with Rich. Jim in Las Vegas.
Hi, Rich. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Super. Yeah, I'm blind, and I've got a product and some resources. The Pen Ultimate Screen Reader and Readback is called JAWS, Jaws. It's provided by a company called Freedom Scientific, and it'll do everything the caller yesterday was looking for. Now, in Las Vegas, it was provided to me free through the state's vocational and occupational rehab department, Bureau of Services to the Blind. So the caller in his state may have something also, a service from the state or county that would provide it for free, and training and all kinds of stuff for blind, low vision, and dyslexic.
And so are you blind or low vision, or?
I am blind.
And so how is it with this program navigating what you need to do? Are there things you run into where you can't do, or do you feel like you have a pretty good hand on this?
It will enable you to read the entire screen, and it will tell you what it finds. And so you can do just about anything with this product. Retail cost was about $900. It might even be lower now, but I got it free through the state. So his state may also provide it free.
I'm looking at about $90 for the year. Looks like you can get a home license for it. So
okay,
that's not too bad.
I also have something else. You had a low-income veteran a few weeks ago from Glendale, California, call in. He needed a lot of home repairs and didn't know where to go. And in Glendale, or in L.A. County, they have something called the Handyman Program. You'll have to look it up. I don't know if it's funded by the state or the county, but you apply, and it's for up to $5,000 to $8,000 of various home improvements. I mean, it could be floors, carpet, doors, windows, roof, air conditioning, almost anything. And so you apply, and they evaluate you, and then they put you out to their approved contractors, and they make the repairs, and the county or state pays for it.
And who qualifies for that?
Pardon?
Who qualifies for that?
Low-income people and perhaps disabled people.
Okay. It looks like it's called the Handy Worker Program. Does that sound about right?
No, I was told the Handyman Program.
Okay, here we go. Handyman. Let's see.
For L.A. County.
Yeah, well, there's a couple. So it seems like a lot of them have different names, but it seems like they have them in various states, which is pretty handy. And it definitely sounds like what you're talking about. So you like to help people out with this stuff, huh? When you know about it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it seems like
there's also a fellow in England called Hartgen, Hartgen. He's blind, and he's written some additional macros and interfaces using JAWS, using the one you were talking about, Dragon Professional, though, and his macros to give you full navigation and control of the computer.
All right.
And it's Hartgen Associates, or Harge, and in England, and they have local distributors that provide training and product. It requires the Dragon Professional, which I think is around $300, but also Hartgen has a dictation set up with Dragon, the cheaper one, for around $100 to get your feet wet and get started.
Perfect.
But,
I see it. J Dictate, turning thoughts into text. All right, Jim, I've got someone else as well that I want to make sure I get him in to get some more recommendations. So thanks for these recommendations. Let me go to Ed in Detroit. Ed, you also have some recommendations?
Yes, but that person you just spoke to has all of the best stuff. Just want to say about JAWS. My brother has JAWS, and I listened to it. It can have many different voices or whatever choice he wants, male, female, young, old, what have you.
And what about these virtual assistants? Like, what about something like Alexa or Amazon Assist, Google Assistant or Siri? Do you ever use any of those, and are those helpful or no?
I use the one on. I have an Apple iPhone.
So Siri.
I use VoiceOver.
And how is that working?
Perfect.
Really?
I choose a female voice to do the talking.
So you have a choice of voices?
It reads whatever I click on the computer, and I can read a comment, or I can slice with two fingers down the page, and it'll read the whole page.
Wow.
It's very versatile.
So you second, Ed, JAWS, huh?
Yes, I do second JAWS. Now, I like your guy yesterday. My vision grew worse. I could read stuff on a computer. And for those people who still have reading ability, I recommend Zoom Text. Zoom Text is a screen reader, a screen and a reader.
And there's actually, yeah.
And it is so, well, Zoom, Freedom Scientific, the owner of JAWS, brought them out so you can get them from the same place.
Yeah, I'm looking at that online. Zoom Text is, it's owned by Freedom Scientific, and they've got magnifier with speech, and then they've got an integration with JAWS, it looks like. So that's a great resource as well.
It is a great.
All right, Ed. Well, thanks for the suggestions, and you like to help people as well, huh?
Yes, I do.
Well, we're in a helping mood today.
For myself and a lot of different things. So being blind does not stop you from doing anything.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. I love to hear that, and I love the attitude. Thanks for listening this morning. Appreciate it.
All right, I'll continue to listen.
All right, Ed in Detroit, thanks so much. Lots of help going on today on the Tech Guy, so you heard a lot of great resources. And for me personally, I love learning about some of this stuff as well. We've got our car guy up next, Sam Abuelsamid. We've got more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. I'm Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte today. More of the Tech Guy after this. Welcome back to the Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro in today for Leo Laporte. With your calls at 1-8888 Ask Leo, we're talking about technology, apps, gadgets, cars, anything you want to talk about that has to do with technology. Tell me what your favorite app is, what you like, what you don't like. By the way, I just posted on my Instagram account a little behind the scenes. If you're curious how this show makes it to your radio, go to my Instagram at RichOnTech. It's a cool look behind the scenes here at the studio. Joining me now is Sam Abuelsamid, our car guy. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Hey, Rich. How are you this week?
I'm doing great. I love what we're talking about here because it's actually a callback to last week's show when I talked about how, the last frontier is really the car with all this data for these big companies like Google, and you've got some new information about that.
Yeah, so you were mentioning on your Saturday monologue last weekend that Google, for example, collects all this data from devices that we use, from our phones and everything else, and our web searches and all over the place. And the car is kind of one of those last places that they're not gathering much data from. And that's, in fact, that's quite true for both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. They have both Apple and Google have very limited access to vehicle data when you're using those systems where you have to plug in your phone. Basically, the only vehicle data that Google gets in that case is most manufacturers actually give them access to the built-in GPS receiver that's in the car because it's more accurate than the one on your phone for mapping. But aside from that, all they collect is whatever's on your phone. So, any location history, if you've got that turned on, they'll grab that. But starting next year.
Wait, hold on. That's interesting. So you're saying that when I plug my phone into the car, it's kind of bypassing the GPS on my phone and using the built-in one on the car? Is that always the case?
It depends on the manufacturer. Some car makers provide that signal, that GPS signal. Others don't. But in a lot of cases, they do that just because the antenna that's built into the car, the GPS antenna that's built into the car, is more accurate than the one that's in your phone. So when you're using maps, it'll give you more accurate location data for your navigation.
Interesting.
But that's the only car data you get.
I always wonder about that because I wonder sometimes it takes longer to get a lock on my location, and I kind of put my phone, if it's kind of thrown on the seat next to me, I'll put it like in a holder so it has a better view of the sky, So it's interesting. So I wonder if that happens. Anyway, that's good to know.
Yeah, like I said, it depends on the manufacturer. I know Ford does that. They provide the GPS signal to phones if your phone is plugged in. Some manufacturers don't, so it varies. But for the most part, they don't get other vehicle data like your speed and your other driving behavior, except for whatever it can discern from the sensors that are in the phone,
which is a lot.
But starting next year, there's actually going to be quite a few cars that are actually running on Android Automotive, which is a new version of Android that is specifically designed as an operating system for infotainment systems. So there's some cars today that already use Android as the operating system for their infotainment, but they're like Honda and Hyundai and some other manufacturers do, but they're using the Android open source project. But this is actually an official Google-made operating system for cars, and Volvo is going to be the first one to roll it out in early 2020 in their new Polestar 2 EV, and also in their the electric version of the XC40. And then following that, Fiat Chrysler and General Motors have already also announced, and the screenshot behind me, if you're watching the stream, is actually from a GM press shot of their system. And so what these will all have a full-blown version of Android actually running right in your car that can download apps directly to it from the Google Play Store. So it'll have Google Play services, it'll have Google Maps, and Google Assistant built into your car. So you don't even have to connect your phone to it in order to use it. It'll all be right there, and it'll have access to all the data in your vehicle about what you're doing, where you're going, and for good or ill, it'll be able to provide all kinds of services to you.
So a couple questions. Number one, if it's running on its own, how does it interface with my phone for calls? So is my phone now just relegated to Bluetooth for calls?
You can still. They haven't been entirely clear how that's going to work. Whether you'll still connect your phone via Bluetooth for calls, or whether it'll just use the modem, because there's going to be a cellular modem in all these cars. Whether it'll just use that to make the calls instead of using your phone.
So now it'll be one of those things where you, like, I've got number sync where I pay $10 for my Apple Watch to share the number on my iPhone. So now I'm going to have to do that with my car, I bet.
Yep.
So that's probably another $10 a month for the old Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint. I see where they're going here.
New revenue streams for everybody.
So my other question is, if these cars are Android, what does that mean for the iPhone folks out there who want to use CarPlay?
So they will still support CarPlay. So all three of the manufacturers that have announced Android Automotive support, Volvo, Fiat Chrysler, and GM, they are all still going to be supporting CarPlay. So if you plug in your iPhone, it'll bring up CarPlay screen just like it does today. It's just that it's running Android underneath that. And in fact, today, if you drive a Honda or Acura vehicle or a number of Hyundai vehicles, the same thing is already happening. Those vehicles are already running open source Android, and they're just running CarPlay on top of that. So there's nothing that precludes the manufacturers from supporting other systems, other smartphone projection systems on top of Android Automotive.
And the okay, so you've got that. You've got the Android working in unison, I guess, with CarPlay. What does this mean for the consumer? I mean, is this a good thing for us, or is this a bad thing that these companies now have direct, it's kind of a direct tap into all of our vehicle data, which is what they want? And I assume it's cheaper for the manufacturers, by the way, because this software is provided free to them.
Well, that part is not entirely clear. Whether they're actually having to pay a licensing fee to Google or not to use this. I think the base Android Automotive system is probably free, but it's probably a similar system to what they do today for Android phones, where you can use Android for free, but then they have licensing agreements with Google to get the closed source services like Play Services and Google Maps and Gmail and things like that. If you want to include those on your phone, the phone makers pay a licensing fee to Google for that. I suspect it's going to be similar for Android Automotive, that they will pay a licensing fee in order to get access to Google Assistant and some of the other Google services right on the vehicle.
And of course, this opens up a whole new revenue stream on the ad side, because now, like, my oil is low right now in my car. And so I would be getting ads that say, hey, Jiffy Lube 10% off or whatever, because it knows that, it knows the diagnostics of my car.
That's something that whether your car's running Android Automotive or QNX or any other operating system, you're gonna be starting to get those things anyway. Most manufacturers are starting to build in those kinds of services into their systems to monitor the service needs of your car. And if it's time for a service appointment, they'll prompt you and say, hey, you're scheduled for a service in the next 2 weeks. Do you want to schedule one right now? And they'll they can connect you directly with a dealer or other service provider and probably give you some special deals on that. And they'll probably get an affiliate fee in exchange for that.
Wow. What a brave new future we have for our cars. It is the last frontier, but man, it taps into a lot. Insurance companies, car washes. I mean, there's just so many services around cars that this makes total sense. Sam Abuelsamid, thanks so much for joining us today on the show. Where can folks get in touch with you?
You can find me at navigantresearch.com, which is my day job as an analyst there, and also my podcast at wheelbearings.media with my friends Dan Roth and Rebecca Lindland.
All right, thanks so much for being on the show today. You are listening to The Tech Guy. More of your calls at 1-8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536, right after this. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte. We've got Greg in New Brunswick, Canada. Greg, you're on with Rich.
Hi, Rich. Thanks for taking my call. You're doing a great job.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep. Okay. A couple weeks ago, my parents, of course, have like an Acer parents desktop computer, and they were browsing along with Edge, and for no reason, all of a sudden the computer shut off, and it went into an endless reboot loop. I did a multitude of actions to try to get the computer back to normal, but every time I tried doing that, it ended up getting the blue screen of death. So we decided to take the computer back under warranty, since this computer was under 2 years. It has now been reset, but now my question here is this. What steps can my parents take to prevent a blue screen of death from occurring in the future?
So you're the de facto tech person for your parents, like I am?
Yeah, I guess so.
How often do you live with them, or do you see them often? How is this a thing where you set it and forget it, or are you kind of there monitoring?
I've been living with my parents since day one, I guess.
Well, that's good. Better than day 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you live there, and is it frustrating because your parents basically they come to you and they're like, we don't know what happened here. It's just they don't get it as much, basically, kind of like what I experience.
Well, actually, from time to time they'll come here, like they'll come to me and ask me to help some things.
My thing is, and this is the way I deal with it, because my mom or dad will come to me and they'll just be like, I don't know what happened. It just doesn't work. And I'll be like, well, something had to have happened, right? So I think what generally happens is there's some sort of malware that gets downloaded because there's some kind of links that are being clicked that I'm not saying that they're looking, at stuff that they shouldn't be, but it's just this happens when you're on the open web. You search for something, I see browser hijacks, I see redirect apps. I mean, it's pretty wild when you're not that tech savvy what you can easily fall victim to when it comes to this. Does that sound about right?
Or it could be a critical error that, that came in. I ended up getting like the 0xC, like multitude of zeros 21A on that one.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. Well, I think the main thing that I would do is kind of set up their computer in a way that is locked down as much as possible. I would perhaps maybe look into some content blockers that would help get rid of some of the things that they encounter that may be tricky for them to navigate. When it comes to simple things like doing a download of a website, sometimes, or if they're trying to find an app, next thing you know, they're getting a link that doesn't really give them what they need, and it's kind of taking over their computer and installing some other stuff. Other than that, I would make sure that their software is up to date, and, that's the best you can do for them. Does it feel like it's a lot to kind of keep on top of all this stuff for them?
Yeah, they're now running version 1903 for Windows 10.
So you're pretty good with the tech stuff, it sounds like.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of kind of keeping it on top of it for them.
Yeah, because they didn't really do anything like wrong. It's just sometimes these things happen for no reason.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think a lot of times it is just a matter of just kind of being on top of what you can do with these computers, and also, just these programs, I see it all the time. I just see that they try to make you do things that you shouldn't necessarily do. You as a tech person, and you kind of know what's good, what's bad. If you're average on the computer and you're navigating and surfing, you don't really think about all these things that could potentially harm your system. Do you have any? Do you have like a backup set up for them or anything like that?
They didn't have any like plans like for backup. They didn't think about that. Okay.
Maybe think about that if they're doing pictures and all that kind of stuff. But I think the main thing is just to help them keep their system up to date, run those software updates as much as possible, and just kind of school them. Do you have time to kind of teach them, how to do things on the computer? Is that in your schedule or what?
If I've got maybe spare time down the road, I could probably do that.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that. You teach. My mom likes to write everything down. She likes to, how do you print pictures? She loves to write everything down in a little notebook, and it's kind of fun to watch that little process.
Yep. All
right, Greg. Thanks for the question. Good question, and hopefully your parents can stay on a computer that actually works for a while, because the last thing you want is to have to be the tech support guy every day of the week when it comes to someone else's computer. Christina is in Bonsall, California. Am I saying that right, Christina?
That's correct. Excellent.
All right. I like that. Hold on.
Hey, I just have to say you have the kindest heart, Rich. And, it's been fabulous having you on these last couple of weeks. Really, really enjoyable. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Christina. I'm going to record what you just said and send it to my wife.
Certainly. No problem. No problem.
And my kids.
I'm happy to do that for you.
So what can I help you with?
Well, I don't want you won't have to feel sad for me. This is not a big deal. It's just something that I would like to do, and that is to go partially paperless. Now, I have a business, and I don't want to do anything like that with the things that I have to submit to the IRS if I should, God forbid, be audited. But what I'm looking to do, Rich, is I have a lot of files with real estate investment stuff, just a lot of different nursing things. I'm a nurse by history, that kind of thing. And I just want to become more of a minimalist. So my question to you is it best to use like a USB drive to scan and copy all that? Or is actually that an insane idea in terms of the time and the money it would cost to have someone else do it?
No, I don't think it's insane at all. This is, you want to go Marie Kondo on all of your papers at home, right? That's what I'm hearing here.
For the most part. But you know what? I saw a really awful article the other day about someone that had done that and then had a random IRS audit.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. You wade into this, right? You don't have to do everything all at once, and you kind of figure out. So what kind of phone do you have?
I have a Note 10.
Okay, you have a Note 10, so that's a good phone. So the Note actually has scanning built in. There's so many ways you can do this. But you can do a dedicated machine, and I like the ones called Scansnap. They're really good. You scan them, you scan the stuff in, you throw the paper in there, it puts it to your computer. It can even go direct to the cloud. But the main thing you have to figure out is what's the device you want to use to scan. I would start with just your phone. And you can use an app. Yep. You just hold your phone over the app, scan it in, and throw it into the cloud. And then you have to decide where you want to store it. And I think the cloud is the best to store because here's why. You want to be able to search for these documents after you scan them. And if you put it into something like OneDrive or into something like Google Drive or even Evernote, you'll be able to search for text inside the papers that you scan, which I think is critical to this process.
Okay. Now, I do have Evernote, so that would be something you would recommend?
Yeah, if you're on Evernote, you have to get the premium version, and if you get the premium, they will let you search inside your documents. So the only thing I don't like about Evernote is that it is a little proprietary if you're ever trying to leave Evernote. So Google Drive is a little more flexible. So my question is, Christina, how are you going to feel when you have everything scanned and all that paperwork is gone?
You cannot imagine how much of a minimalist I turned in. Now, let me just explain one thing. We have a horse boarding ranch, so I have lots of horses, dogs, cats. We've rescued chickens, yada, yada. I have lots in my life. I don't need paperwork.
I hear you, Christina. I feel the same way. Get that stuff scanned. Get it in the cloud. Coming up on The Tech Guy, we've got talk about privacy, plus your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. So I'll tell you guys. Notes in iOS, but she didn't have iOS. That is a great. So I'll tell you what I do. I use Scannable on my phone, and I go from my phone to Google Drive, and then Google Drive lets you search everything, and I have it all. So this is. I probably should have said this on the air, but I didn't have the time. But this is my system because I've been perfecting this system for so long. What I do is I was trying to figure out for years how to do this. But I do, in Google Drive, I do 2019, and then every bill or whatever I have, I just make folders, and then I scan into that folder. So I've got like my dentist name, then I've got my wife's dentist, and the kid's dentist, and I just throw it in there. So it's easy to find at a very high level, but then I can go and search for anything. And I'm talking Google is so smart. I can search when I need a receipt for something like a medical receipt or something. I can just type in the amount on that receipt. Like let's say the insurance company wants something. You literally just type in the amount on that receipt and Google Drive will find it. I mean, it is fantastic. So I highly recommend Google Drive. I like Evernote. I have a subscription to that, but I don't use it anymore to store my documents because I got burned when I wanted to switch over to Evernote or to Google Drive. It's impossible. I'm still recovering from that a couple years ago. The other apps I like for scanning, so on Samsung, it's built in. If you turn it on in your camera settings, you can just scan. It doesn't scan to PDF, it scans to JPEG, but that's fine. Google Photos actually also now searches text inside pictures. So literally, if you just take a picture, you can do that and search for text inside that. Or if you've got the new Notes app, and I see some of you talking about this in the chat room, the new iOS Notes app does a great job with searching inside stuff as well. But you have to scan it from, I wrote this in my book, and I'm trying to remember, because if you scan it one way, it doesn't do it, but if you scan it the other way, it does. So I think you have to scan it from within Notes for it to be able to search. But if you scan it from inside, your Files app, it does not search. So anyway. All right, now you've heard enough of me. Let's hear from Leo.
Hey, Rich, thank you so much for filling in. Leo Laporte here. I'll be back next week, but before Rich takes the show back for a moment, I want to mention a little bit about our advertiser, our sponsor today, Plex. Love the Plex. Plex brings together all the media that matters to you in one app, available on any device, no matter where you are. You can organize and stream. And by the way, this is free. Your personal collection of movies, of TV shows, music, favorite podcasts, web series, news, and more. But really, if you want to get the full Plex experience, do what I did. Get the Plex Pass. I loved it so much. I paid for it for 1 month, and I just said, give me a lifetime subscription. I'm going to be using this for the rest of my life. Plex Pass, with premium features that bring out the best in whatever media you have. If you really love TV, movies, music, and photos, podcasts too, you're going to love Plex Pass. For instance, for cord cutters, there is no better way to be a cord cutter. All you need is the Plex Pass, a tuner, and you can stop paying for cable and get great TV, even record free HD broadcast channels right to your library. You can do it with a cable card, too. That's how I'm going to do it at home. Offline accessibility is great. That's how you take your stuff with you on the road. Mobile sync, too, so you can sync your movies, shows, music, and photos to the mobile device. Enjoy it offline as well as online, wherever you go. Premium music, too, with curated playlists and lyrics and all those features based on your music preferences. They've got photos, beautiful photo albums, all of this with the Plex Pass. And of course, I love the lean-back cinema-like experience of Plex. And when you put your movies and TV shows in there, Plex automatically organizes them, adds additional features. Multiple accounts mean you can have multiple users within your home, including the kids, because they've got parental controls too. I can go on and on. I probably will if you let me. I'm such a fan. Right now, you can get Plex Pass. Are you ready for this? Lifetime pass, $10 off when you go to plex.tv/twit and use the code TWIT10. Are you ready for your Plex Pass? Get it, baby. There's so many features the Plex Pass perks give you. Exclusive access to promos and discounts of partner products that probably pay for itself. You also get to use the newest features before anybody else does. That's how I saw that new beta UI first, and I loved it. There's also a lot of, like with audio, there's loudness leveling, and they call it sweet fades. There's a timeline view, all sorts of advanced audio stuff. Look, if you're ready for Plex Pass, go to plex.tv/twit, enter the code TWIT10, and you'll get $10 off the lifetime pass. But you got to be a new subscriber, okay? Plex.tv/twit, enter the code TWIT10. I kind of envy you if you've never used Plex. Get ready for an amazing experience. Plex.tv/twit. Now back to Rich.
Thank you, Leo. Lots of chatter about this whole scanning stuff. I'm obsessed. Okay, so the other app I use, did I mention Scannable? That's my favorite. Scannable is fantastic. And it's only iOS, unfortunately. And it's funny, on Android, I should have mentioned this to her too. I didn't have enough time for that. I wish I had all these. I hope that she's listening to the webcast. But on Android too, you could just use Google Drive to directly scan. So if you just go into Google Drive, press the plus sign, there's an option that says scan. And you could just scan directly into Google Drive right from there. And that does create a PDF, and it is searchable. So it's just amazing. I went paperless a couple years ago. I scan everything. As soon as I get it, boom, scanned in, and I can find it. My wife has access so she can find stuff. I mean, it's really, really great. I love it. Just makes life so much easier. And the other app I really like now is Zoho Doc Scanner, or Zoho Scanner, I think it's called. SCANNER. Zoho Doc Scanner, which is really good, and that one works pretty well. So, anyway, got a lot going on here. Welcome to Hour 2 of The Tech Guy. I'm Rich DeMuro, sitting in for Leo Laporte today. We're talking about technology, taking your calls, and throwing in some of the stuff I think you should know about in the world of technology. Our website, techguylabs.com. You don't have to write stuff down that you hear here. Just go to techguylabs.com, search for what you remember hearing, if there's a keyword, and just type it in. You'll find it. We've got a great team here that puts everything up on there. So easy to find. And by the way, if you like me talking here, I do have my own podcast where I talk about this stuff as well. It is called Rich on Tech. So if you search in your podcast app, Rich on Tech, I talk about a lot of the stuff that I think you should know about. I love finding little things that I think are interesting and I think are really cool and then sharing it with people because we're all on this journey together, right? It's a matter of, if you're into technology, part of the beauty of tech is discovering things that can not only help you, but also help other people. And for me, I love helping other people because I find this stuff out and I go, that's really cool. If I think this is cool, surely someone else might think it's cool. And when it comes to privacy, there's a couple of things that I have been learning, some of these new features that are pretty good. So let me talk about some of the things that Amazon, Google, and Apple are doing. They've got some new tools to help you protect your privacy. I know, sounds like an oxymoron, right? Where these major tech companies are trying to help you protect your privacy. Apple, kind of known for this. Amazon, you don't really think about too much, but they know a lot about you, right? I mean, they know your whole shopping history. And they've got Alexa. Well, let's start with Google Maps. So there's this new incognito mode. So maybe you want to search for something on your maps without it personalizing the rest of your experience. So you can now activate an incognito mode. It's up first on Android. All you have to do is go into the Google Maps app. You tap your profile pic, which is like in the upper right-hand corner. And there's a new option that says use maps to turn on incognito mode. You turn it on and boom, everything that you do inside the maps will not be recorded. So wherever you navigate to, the stuff you search for, it all just kind of goes away once you get out of that incognito mode. So that's number one. Number two, on YouTube, you can do the same thing. And you can tap your profile picture and it says turn on incognito. And all the videos that you search for and you watch will not be saved in your history. And you might be thinking, well, what's that good for? Well, I'll tell you. So my son is into all these Minecraft and all these, video game videos, all these YouTubers that I don't really know, but he does. And guess what? My entire YouTube is all taken over by his video game videos because he's searching on my account. So now when I hand him my phone, I just put it in incognito mode and now he can search and watch all his stuff and I don't have to worry about it changing my personalizations. Google Assistant, it records everything that you say, right? Well, now you can actually speak to your Google Assistant. Like if you have one of these little smart speakers at home, the Google Home or the Google Nest, whatever they're calling them nowadays, the Google Nest Mini, you can actually say to Google, delete my last conversation, and it will delete the last thing that you said to Google. You can also say, delete today's activity or delete this week's activity, and Google will instantly erase whatever you said to your smart speaker from your account. And by popular demand, Amazon has enabled something similar for Alexa, but it's not as easy. With Google, you don't have to really do anything except say the command. With Alexa, you do have to turn on a feature first. So you have to go to the website, amazon.com/Alexa privacy. And you look under your privacy settings, and there's something called Review Voice History. And you have to switch on a toggle for enable deletion by voice. I know, sounds a little complicated, but all you have to do is go to amazon.com/Alexa privacy, look in your voice history, and you can enable this deletion by voice. Then, and only then, can you say to you-know-who commands like delete what I just said or delete everything I said today. Now, I don't know why you need to do that, but, sometimes you may say something and you just want her to forget about it. I'm going to leave it at that. And finally, in Siri, Apple iOS 13, they are really doing a good job of giving you controls over your privacy. So is Android in Android 10, but not many people have that on their device. A lot more people have iOS 13. And Siri has some new privacy controls in the latest version of iOS 13. If you've downloaded it and you don't want employees to review the recordings that you say to Siri, so they're recording everything you say to Siri, you can opt out. And you go under your settings, privacy, analytics, and improvements, and next to improve Siri, just toggle the switch off. No hard feelings. I bet you there's enough people out there that are helping Siri out that if you turn your toggle off and don't send your recordings to their employees for review, I think Apple will survive as a company. And if you want to delete what you just said to Siri, you can go into settings, Siri and search, Siri and dictation history, and you can hit the delete button. And so again, all the stuff that you've said to Siri. Now, Apple's a little different. With Amazon and Google, you can actually hear the voice commands that you've said that they've recorded. Apple does not let you do that, but they do let you delete the voice commands that you have said. So you just go ahead and delete those and boom, they're gone. So there's a couple of ways that you can protect your privacy. Another way, this is a little more physical. This is a hidden camera finder. You know, I'm on the news and we tell stories all the time about how people find hidden cameras in the weirdest places, right? Bathrooms, bedrooms, Airbnbs, hotel rooms. It's scary, right? It's like walking into a minefield. You don't know if it's out there. You're concerned. You're wondering. Well, a guy came up with something called the Scout Hidden Camera Finder, and he says it's perfect for checking to see if there are hidden cameras in the room you're staying in. And this thing, it looks like a little lens that you look through, almost like one side of a binocular with a bunch of red lights on it. So these LED lights, and you look through this little device, and if there's a camera in the room, you kind of look around the room. If there's a camera, it will reflect a light back at you, this red light that's being emitted by this device. So it uses these high-powered LEDs that reflect off camera lenses. And the other thing is most camera lenses have what's called an infrared filter on them, or an infrared lens, and that will bounce back even more light. And so the idea is you look through this little, kind of eyeglass, and you look around the room, and if you see anything that's sort of blinking back at you, you know there's a camera there, and you can go and investigate. And so that's $100, and this is going to get a lot of press. It's at a website called spyguy.com. It's $100, so it's expensive, but if you're concerned and you travel a lot, I mean, I don't know. We talked about this on the news, but I always give my hotel rooms kind of a quick glance around. You know, you look in the grates, you look around just to see if there's anything weird. And, it happens. I don't know if it happens that often, but it did make me look up Airbnb's rules about security cameras. And it does say that hosts are required to disclose all security cameras and other recording devices in their listings, and no security cameras are allowed in private spaces like bedrooms and bathrooms. So Airbnb does have rules about this stuff. Now, I've got some cameras at my house, by the way, and I have had guests ask, hey, there's no cameras in the bedrooms, right? I'm like, no, come on. Don't you expect more from me? I mean, it's a thing where we've got lots of cameras. They're so cheap nowadays that people have them all over their houses. Don't put them in your bedrooms. Come on. Especially when you got guests coming over. All right, you're listening to Rich DeMuro on The Tech Guy. We've got more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. We'll have more with you after this. I had no less than 2 people come to my house in the last month asking for me if they can have the footage from my camera. I have outside cameras as well. And so they said, hey, we wonder, someone thought a car got stolen, so they wanted the camera footage. So the neighbors came over and, we talked about, or we showed them the video. Like we went through the video on my phone. And anyway, that was a long story. They realized the car was not stolen. And the other person had a package stolen off their doorstep, and they wanted to see if my video doorbell captured the person getting it. And it's crazy. And I get these little alerts on my watch where Nest has gotten so good that Nest actually sends, no joke, Nest sends you a clip of the camera when it notices movement or whatever. It sends a clip to your Apple Watch. I didn't think you can press play on it, and so I never did until about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, wait, what? I can actually press play on this little video that you're sending me? So that's pretty amazing. It's like a little clip, Let's see, Rich, same thing with me. 3 weeks ago, cops came to your house to look at the footage to see who stole someone's bike. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So you have the right to show them that or not, right? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you helped, but I guess that's a whole new world for cops. It's actually a whole new world for news media. We have video of everything now. Everything that happens, there's video of it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Now, AZ guy, you're saying your cheapo camera, you turn off the light. I should have mentioned this on the air, but the new the Nest cams, you can't turn off the light anymore. You can dim it, but you can't turn it off. And I noticed all the Nest cams in my house, all the lights are on now. So you can't, yeah. Which, I get it. It's a stopgap. Totally within my rights, and I only let them, I email them what they needed. Yeah, obviously, why not help them out, right? The only thing is if there's something crazy that happened, I just wouldn't want to be dragged into it. Welcome back to the Tech Guy Radio Show. We're talking technology and taking your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. Andy is in Richmond, Virginia. Andy,
hi, Rich.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks to you and Kim for helping me out today.
All right. Well, is it cold there on the East Coast?
Well, it's going to be in the 60s tomorrow, but then we're going to dip down into the 30s and 40s, maybe even in the 20s overnight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's getting there, but I'm still wearing my shorts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good for the...
Well, I'm a Southerner.
Oh, so you're just wearing the shorts as long as possible until you have to change out of them.
Halloween, I'm real happy.
Nice.
Rich, I'm looking for a Chromebook for my granddaughter for Christmas. And I found a very nice one, I think, at Sam's Club. It's a 15-inch HP. It's got 4 gigs of memory, and it's got 128 gigabytes storage. But the thing that throws me, I'm familiar with HDD and SDD, or SSD, but not eMMC. That's a new one on me. It's got 128 gigabytes of eMMC. I wonder if you could opine on that a little bit and help me out.
Well, I love that you're getting your granddaughter a Chromebook. She probably uses one at school, huh?
Well, she did, and she's working now. She's a cosmetologist. She doesn't need an optical drive. She doesn't make videos like I do. So she probably mostly surfs the net and gets... manages her photos.
Right.
So I think she'd be most comfortable with a Chromebook rather than a heavy-duty computer.
Yeah, and that goes for a lot of people. I mean, like you said, you're editing videos, so you need... What do you use?
Well, I have 3 i7 computers, so I use that for my video editing.
Okay,
one of those.
And I'm the same way. I'm editing videos all the time for my TV work, and I obviously use a MacBook Pro for that. And I would love to have a Chromebook. In fact, when I looked at when I went to the Google event recently, they came out with this thing called the Pixelbook Go, and it was beautiful. But I can't really edit video on it. And, but Chromebooks for the uninitiated is just super simple. It does all the stuff you need to do that. Like if you do most of what you do in a web browser, which is watch videos, do your email, surf the web, manage your photos, then you're totally fine. And so that's why you're looking at this one. And 128 gigs of memory is actually pretty good on a Chromebook.
Well, I know that, and I was very happy to see that, but then I saw the eMMC, and that kind of threw me, and I figured you knew more about that than I did, so what do you think?
The main thing is the eMMC. It's kind of very similar to what you would get in like a SD card. So it's kind of like that sort of memory. So it's still solid state. It's just not an SSD drive, which is a solid state drive that doesn't move. They're similar, but it's just a different type of memory, and it's a little bit slower. So I don't think it's going to come into play here. I don't think it's going to be a big deal for your granddaughter, but that's just the main difference. And I think you probably find that on a lot of the Chromebooks. Were the other ones similar to that?
Well, this is the best one I've seen in terms of the storage.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of them only come with like 16 gigs of storage.
Exactly. And the price is just around $400, and that's a good budget price for me. It's an i3 Chromebook.
Yeah. I think I found the listing on Sam's Club.
HP i3.
Yeah, it's got a 15-inch touchscreen.
Yes.
I like everything about this, and I think that your granddaughter is going to be pretty happy with it. Have you used a Chromebook?
I haven't. No, I'm not afraid to, but I just, I have 3 Windows computers already, so I don't need to mess around with something else at this point.
And this is something for the holidays?
Yes. Although it'll be difficult for me to sit on it for another 2 months before I give it to her.
You might just, what the good news is about a Chromebook, you can use it a little bit just to try it out, and then you can they easily have where you can wipe this thing because it doesn't really carry all your information. So you can just say, hey, I just wanted to play with this a little bit before I gave it to you.
Well, that sounds like fun.
I don't think she would mind.
I'm sure she won't. And I was, if it was a regular computer or a Windows computer, rather, I would set it up for her and all that stuff. But as you say, she's familiar with the Chromebook from school, so she won't have any problem stepping into it, I think.
Oh, and the other benefit with the Chromebooks is that you just sign in with your Google account and it pretty much sets itself up.
That's great.
It's super easy. So I think this is a win-win situation for you and your granddaughter. I think she's going to be very happy. And what a good grandpa for getting such a nice gift.
Well, it's also a high school graduation extended gift as well. So, it's something for the future. She may not decide to stick with her current career forever, so we need to launch her into the computer world as well.
I love it. Well, I think you're doing a good thing. So easy updates. Everything about this sounds good to me. So I don't think you should be worried about the memory. I think it's going to be just fine, the storage on this device. And I think she's going to love it.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks for your help, Rich.
All right, Andy. Thanks so much. And, get the most use out of those shorts you can. It may get cold soon. So see what you can do. Let's go to Jerry in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Jerry, you're on with Rich.
Hi, Rich. Well, I have 3 programmable thermostats, and they're all different brands, and they're older than 15 years. I was looking for something I could do with Bluetooth as opposed to Wi-Fi, because I believe if you do a Wi-Fi thermostat, isn't there a service fee in charge by the company?
Not necessarily. I have a Nest that has its Wi-Fi, and it doesn't charge me anything per month. So is that what you mean, per month, or do you mean?
Well, whatever. I mean, I don't see any point in paying any money to program your own thermostat.
No, and there's not. As far as I know, I have not paid any fee on my Nest, and I've had it for 5 years. So it's usually a one-time thing. Do you have a Wi-Fi set up in your home?
Well, I have Wi-Fi, but I was hoping to do Bluetooth. But
the thing about Bluetooth with something like this is it may not hold the connection, and I think that's why they probably don't go to Bluetooth. They go to Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi, it's a sustainable, connection where they can have it throughout the day. So a lot of times these things will phone home at night to get, the latest forecast or kind of just get software updates and all that good stuff. So
can you program them from your computer though?
Well, and yes, well, what do you mean computer? Usually it's through an app on your phone.
Well, either that or a laptop or a desktop or the phone. Can you sit down there and actually do the programming on your computer and then transfer it to your thermostat?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the brand. So every one of them is a little bit different. A lot, like the Nest uses something called learning. So with my Nest, I actually don't program it. And what happens is it learns as you use it. So if I turn the temperature down every night before bed to a lower temperature, it's going to learn that and just kind of start doing that on its own. And then when it notices that I leave the house every morning at a certain time, it's going to say, okay, Rich has left, so now we're going to turn the thermostat off or whatever, because it's going to save energy.
Aren't those lists about $250?
It depends. They have various models, but the thing to know about all of these is, and where do you live? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, cold.
Check with your energy company, because a lot of times you get a rebate. I got a $50 rebate off of mine, and yeah, you can really. In fact, Nest actually has a rebate website, I believe, and you can just go there, and you will find. You put in your zip code, and you'll find all kinds of great stuff. So
my utility company sent me an email offering me a thermostat. It was a Nest. I figured I'm not going to buy that and pay an extra connection fee every time I want to reprogram my thermostat.
No. Take a look, Jerry. Take a look at the one that they offered you, because the Nest is pretty good. Ecobee is also another one. You're listening to the Tech Guy Radio Show. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte. We've got our photo guy up next, and more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. Thanks for joining us here on the Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro sitting in for a vacationing Leo Laporte. Well-deserved vacation, by the way. That guy works really hard, so I'm glad to sit in for him today. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to my website, richontech.tv. I'm the tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles, and I'm very happy to welcome to the show our photo guy, Chris Marquardt. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rich, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you today?
Very good, very good. So it is time again to look at the assignment photos. What we do here on the show is about once a month, this time of, I think, a couple of weeks longer. I hand out an assignment. People go, take photos, and it's about taking new photos. It's not go and look in Lightroom and find one 5 years ago that fits the assignment. It's more about, it's a reason to go out and take photos. It's a reason to get off your butt and go and do photography, because that's what it's all about. And now, especially now, the weather's getting colder and more gray, at least here in Germany. It's a good reason. It's a good motivation to go out and shoot photos.
It's always fun.
So people have uploaded photos for the golden assignment. That was the last assignment. The photos are in the Tech Guy group on Flickr. That's our pool. I'll explain later how this works for everyone who wants to participate in the next assignment. And we have received almost 90 photos. People have taken photos of the golden hour, of golden things, of golden, the concept of golden as well. So it's a real good assortment of stuff. It was really tough this time. The choice was really difficult this time because there's so much good stuff. So I appreciate all the photos. Great job, everyone.
They look good. And golden hour always is such a nice time to take pictures.
And it's almost so easy to take great photos when the light is good, because it's all about the light, right?
I saw someone outside the other day, and it was like twilight or whatever, and she was taking her selfie. Just, she knew, look right into the sun, like face to the sun. So it just had that great glow on her, and she was just snapping away.
Sure.
You want a good selfie, do that.
Yeah, that's the perfect place and time to take a selfie. So I have chosen 3 photos. Again, there's nothing to win here apart from us talking about the photos. And I've made a choice of 3. And let's dive right in. The first one is by Josh Brown. The title is Heart of Gold. And it's a fairly simple photo. What you see on the photo is Josh has taken like a heart-shaped glass bead kind of thing. And that's very close to the camera. You can see the 2 fingers pinching that. And then there's, I think, the sun behind shining in through some blinds.
I thought it was a candle at first. Yeah, no, you're right.
I thought it was a candle,
sun.
But it looks like it's a sun. And this is not a technically amazing photo. There's like dirt in there. There's lens flare in there. Like a lot of things that some people might frown upon because of impurities. But that adds so much to the feeling of this photo. The emotion in this photo is so great. Light coming from behind is always a good idea because it makes really interesting reflections, and in this case, refractions through the glass bead. So yeah, this is awesome. So thanks, Josh, for the photo. Oh, and by the way, it also doesn't take an amazing camera, or it doesn't take an expensive or big DSLR or anything. This was taken with a smartphone.
Wow. So, yeah, I mean, that's all you need nowadays.
There you go. Yep.
I was trying to see if you would agree with me with that.
No. Smartphones are amazing, and they're getting better and better. Second photo by Ken. It's the Oceanside Pier, California. Sunset Golden Hour is what he titled it. And this is on the other end of the spectrum. This is shot with a DSLR. It's a big camera. And you can kind of see the picture's very clean, but very, again, emotional. First of all, it's the sea, it's the sun. The sun's peeking through these the stilts that the pier is on, the scaffolding below it, and the sunshine makes nice rays. So that's we call it a starburst effect. You can do this with a lens where you can close down the aperture and brings out these streaks. What I love about the photo is just the mood, because you have the warm and you have the cold. You have the orange and the blue, right? The blue, that's in the shadows. That's where the light is cooler. And the warm orange from the sun is the warmth. And those two are complementary colors. So they make a really appealing color contrast. That's being used so much in movies right now, the teal-orange contrast. So this is...
How much editing do you think went into this photo? Or do you think this is just what it looks like?
No, I think there's a bit of contrast enhancement, but I don't think too much. That's pretty close to what it was. When the light is good, you get these kind of good photos. So, and a bit of a tweak in contrast after the fact. This is almost normal. That's what I do to most photos. It just makes it a bit more crisp, right? A bit more punchy. So that's Ken's photo. And last but not least, is a photo that is, again, technically not really that clean. It's by Joe Kraus. It's it's titled P1010691.
Straight off the camera roll there.
Probably straight off the camera. I kind of prefer when people put titles on their photos. But yeah, this is taken with a compact camera. Again, not a big DSLR. It has unsharpness. So what we're looking at is a scene at, it's Half Moon Bay, says in the description, shot towards the sea against the sun, and the sun is reflecting off the water in kind of a hot spot, but you don't see where the sun is because it's above the picture. So all you get is this silhouette of things. You do not get any detail in the photo. There's a silhouette of ships. There's a silhouette of birds. There's the really bright shine in the water, which makes really harsh contrast. There's a couple people in front on a pier of sorts, and it's just pure mood. It doesn't show any detail, and it doesn't need to, because it's just again pure mood, pure feeling. And I really like this. I initially went over that photo, and then I went back again because I was this. Oh wait, let me go one step back. What was that? Because it was so different from the others.
So do you pick a winner?
No, those three are the winners.
Those three are the winners. Oh, well, congrats to those three.
Three winners.
They're fantastic.
And there's nothing to win other than us talking about the photos here. So yeah, but 89 photos, and it was a really tough choice. There was really great stuff in there. So this is the time when I hand out the next assignment. The assignment has been suggested by a listener in the Tech Guy group, by Birenamin or Birenamin, whatever you pronounce it. And the next assignment is hot.
Ooh.
And what you do is, if you want to participate, you go to the Tech Guy group on Flickr. It's easy to find. It's over 13,000 members. You join the group, you upload your photo, and then you submit it to the Tech Guy group. You want to make sure you tag it. The tag is TG Hot, so we can find it. And in about a month from now, I will go through the photos, pick a few, and then we'll discuss them again here on the show.
Chris Marquardt, tipsfromthetopfloor.com is his website. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, some awesome pictures. Get those new pictures in with hot, however you interpret that. You're listening to The Tech Guy. I'm Rich DeMuro, sitting in for Leo Laporte. We've got phone lines open at 8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Welcome back to the Tech Guy Radio Show. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today. Phone lines open at 1-8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Karen is in San Pedro, California. Karen, you're on with Rich.
Hi. Good morning. Thank you. I sure hope you can help me. I had to purchase a new cell phone because my other phone died. And in the process of setting up the new phone, and the guy at the store took about 2.5 hours to do so, taking things from one phone to the other, he did not bring over the contacts for my email. He brought over the contacts for the telephone, but I have no contacts for the email. I contacted the cell phone provider. I contacted my email provider to see what they could do, and they both said, sorry, can't do anything. Is there anything that can be done?
Okay, so what phone did you get?
It's a Samsung A10.
Okay, and what phone did you have?
I had a Samsung Galaxy. I don't know. They took it.
They took it. Okay. And do you need these contacts? I take it you do.
I do, because I use the phone not only as a phone, but also for emailing. And as it stands right now, unless someone emails me, I can't email them.
Where are these contacts stored originally?
In the phone, from the provider, but they said they couldn't do anything about it, which strikes me as being very strange, because if I get a new computer and I plug it in, the contacts are right there from them. And
okay, hold on. Okay, so here's my question. What kind of email are you using?
I'm using, my email is...
is it Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook?
It's from AT&T.
Okay, it's AT&T. So now, here's the question. When you go to AT&T on the website and you start typing in someone's email address, is their email there? Does it autocomplete that?
If I type in their email address, then I can get to them, yes. But that would mean typing in hundreds of email addresses.
But when you start typing it, does it kind of autocomplete? Like, let's say you type A, does it bring up the person?
It doesn't do that. And that's what I tried to explain to the gentleman at the store.
Okay,
I said, yeah, I don't get that. Before, yes, if I type in an A or an M, then that person's name, or all the people that had an M in their name would pop up.
And when you go to your contacts on AT&T Mail online, there's nothing in the address book?
There's nothing in the address book. On the computer, yes. On the phone, yes. But not on the email side. I can't email unless they have emailed me. So I have about 4 contacts in there right now.
So you have these contacts somewhere. You said they're on your computer?
I have them on the computer, and then I have them on a tablet.
Okay. But you want them on your phone?
Pardon?
You want them on your phone?
I want them on my phone.
Okay.
And I don't want to lose them off the tablet or the computer.
Right. Well, here's what I would recommend. So I would recommend exporting those contacts. You have them on some sort of email address or email program on the computer. Use a program to export. So just in the file, go File, Export Contacts, Address Book, and that will export them into a file. And then what you want to do is you want to go to contacts.google.com and you want to import those contacts into Google. And once you do that, they will appear on your phone. And as long as you have them, you said you have them on your computer, so it's just a matter of migrating these to your phone, basically. And
okay, so on the address line, I would put contacts@google.com.
Yeah, in the web address. So contacts.google.com. And so if you get them in there, then they will appear on your phone.
Okay, once I go into the web page and put contacts.google.com, and then what pops up?
It will be you have a Google account because you have an Android phone, so it will come up with an address book. It may or may not have stuff in it. So all you have to do now is update the address book with the contacts from your computer.
Okay.
And so you can do that all online, all on your computer, and it will magically appear on your phone if you do it that way.
The computer is a Windows 10.
Yeah, it'll work just fine. As long as you can export your contacts wherever they live on your computer, export them into a file. If you go File, Export, do that, and then on Google, you'll see where it says Import, and you just press Import, and it will all be there. So you kind of live on your phone, huh? It sounds like?
Well, I use it as a walking computer type of thing because I have 2 organizations to which I belong, and they're constantly contacting me for various things. And so if I'm on the road or whether I can just respond easily instead of waiting until I get home and on the computer.
And see, the lesson that we've learned here, and I hear this all the time, and it's even happened to me, when you bring your phone in and you put that trust in someone to transfer everything, they don't really care. I'll be honest. I hate to say that, but you kind of feel, do you feel that way?
Oh, yeah. And because when I went back to him, it was like, oh, well, too bad. The phone's gone, and but I got no help from the carrier or the email provider. Neither one of them could help me. Neither one of them could tell me this.
Yeah, well, because they all know that it's all gone. And so, I'm trying to figure out where the place was that these lived so that you can resurrect them. But the reality is this happens all the time. It's like it's a transaction. And the worst part is since everyone is transferring or is trading in their phones nowadays to get the credit or whatever, it's like you don't even have the phone. Back in the day, remember when you used to keep your old phone and, you had it for a while? So
right. I still have my flip phone.
That's from a couple years ago, huh?
Many years ago, yes.
All right. Well, Karen.
But it's been good because if something happened to the phone and I didn't have it, I still had a backup.
Exactly. When I used to transfer all my stuff for my mom or my sister or whatever, I used to say, okay, give me your old phone. Let me see. Even my mom, she only had a couple of contacts in there. I would manually transfer them over. Worst came to worst, right? But nowadays, everything, they want to do these transactions fast. They want to do them, and then they take your phone away. And before you know it, it's like, poof, wait, hold on. Where are my pictures? Where are my contacts? Where's everything that I live for? It's all gone.
Right. And he spent 2.5 hours doing the update, and you would have thought in those 2.5 hours he would have been competent enough to do what he was supposed to do. But
well, and to give him credit, it is tough because we all have our phones set up differently, and so it is a lot. And sometimes I even format my phone, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot about my voice recordings that I had in this one folder. It happens.
Now, there is something on the phone that's new to this phone that I didn't have in the other. It's called a smart switch. And if I press on the smart switch, it says, bring your data to your new phone, send data or receive data. So it looks like I would use that.
For your next phone. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't help you out in this case because you don't really have the data. Yeah. You don't have it, on your old phone. But again, and I would just going forward, Karen, try to live a little bit more in Google and try to put your stuff and make sure it's in the Google aspect of your contacts. And that way it will live no matter what. It's always in the cloud. And I think that'll help you out in the future. So let me know what happens. You can find me, send me an email on my website, richontech.tv, and let me know if you get this worked out. Because you want to have your contacts. Before we head to break, I just want to talk about Netflix ending support for some older devices from Samsung, Roku, and Vizio. This is happening in December, I believe December 1st. So if you have an older device, like a Samsung TV from 2010 to 2011, or a Vizio TV that are 4 years old or older, some of those are going to lose support for Netflix as of December 1st. So you probably want to look into that. You might have gotten a message on your screen, and you might want to think about getting one of those Fire TV sticks or a Roku streamer. But it sounds scary, but just kind of do a little search if your TV is a little bit older and see if yours is one of those affected. We'll have more of the Tech Guy after this. I've got phone lines open at 1-8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. I'm Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte today. More of the Tech Guy right after this. So you heard about the Netflix stuff, but check your model numbers on that for sure. But look at this. We have, a transmission from Leo himself.
Excuse me, Rich. I just want to interrupt briefly for a word from our sponsor, Ringcentral. Ringcentral brings us the Tech Guy podcast. It's our phone system. It's been our phone system since, 3 years here at the East Side Studios and 5 years before that at the Brick House. When we first built the Brick House 8 years ago, we needed a phone system. Russell told us about Ringcentral. I've told you this before, I know. We couldn't be happier, so much so that when we moved, we took it right with us. Ringcentral is the #1 global cloud phone system, and it does pretty much everything you'd need. More than you'd expect from a phone system, frankly. Think about more really about communication. So with Ringcentral, the Ringcentral app means you can work remotely. You can make phone calls from your business line no matter where you are. You can route calls to you so that no matter where you are, you never miss a call. They've got video conferencing now. That's fantastic. Team messaging, too. It's actually a great group message solution. And it works with everything you use. It works with our Gmail. I use Zapier with it. It's great. Salesforce, yep. Outlook. You can retrieve voicemail. In fact, when somebody leaves me a voicemail at my office line, it sends me an email and a text. I even get transcriptions. So you don't get that embarrassing thing where you're listening to, you want to know what the voicemail was and you're in a meeting, you don't want to listen to it. You just can glance at your watch or your phone and see what the message is. Transcriptions are really well done, too. Ringcentral is so much more than a phone system. That's why we got it in the first place, because it's a very affordable phone system, but it does everything now. You simplify your workflow, connect easily with the customers and employees effortlessly. With any mode, on any device, anywhere, their app provides flawless integration, letting you transition from your personal phone to your computer during a call without a hitch. I love the Ringcentral app. for so many reasons, but one of which is you can send business text messages from your personal phone. They won't even know you're not at work. It knows your contacts. You don't have to transfer them in. And if you've got a beautiful number, for your business, we had a great 800 number. You just port it right in without a hitch. Now, instead of the expensive phone company, you're using Ringcentral. And, of course, great customer service 24/7 by phone, chat, even email. So you're never alone when you've got Ringcentral. Look, sign up today. You'll get instant access to Ringcentral's award-winning powerful phone system. You get texting, you get fax, you get video conferencing, of course, phone calls and more. And their special holiday bundle offer is fantastic. Get Ringcentral now and don't pay till 2020. That's a good deal. Go to Ring, but it's worth more the sooner you do it, right? Go to ringcentral.com/tech guy. Do it now. ringcentral.com/tech guy. Don't pay till 2020. Ringcentral. We love it. You will too.
Thanks, Leo. All right. So let's see. What do we got? We got 5 minutes left. Okay. We've got a question online in the queue. Can you get into your computer if you've forgotten your password? And usually I think no. I mean, I know Microsoft what if you have Microsoft, what if you have an online, he probably doesn't have an online login. If you connected your Microsoft account or logged in, can't you reset your account password from online? Welcome to Hour 3 of The Tech Guy, the show where we talk about technology, help you out with any issues you might have, or just discuss the stuff that's happening in the tech world. My name is Rich DeMuro, filling in for Leo Laporte today. You might be like, I kind of know him. Where is that guy from? If you're in LA, you might have seen me on TV. I am the tech reporter for KTLA Channel 5 there. Also have a website, richontech.tv. I'm on all the social medias. Instagram @richontech. It's basically Rich on Tech everywhere. That's what I go by on TV. I'm having a great time sitting in for Leo Laporte today, who is on vacation. The phone lines are open. 1-8888-ASK-LEO or 888-827-5536 if you have a tech question, issue, concern. Maybe you just want to talk. Give me a call. We've got phone lines open right now. I found something seriously cool this morning that I just have to share because I am sort of obsessed. So I love books. I love reading. And I don't mind buying books. I buy them all the time, but I feel like it's a little bit, once I'm done, what do I do with it, right? Well, I found an app that lets me rent, or I guess you don't even call it rent. What do? You loan a book out from the library, right? It's been so long since I've actually done this. But you can get a book out from your local library. But here's the best part. You can get the ebook version. And here's an even better part. You can send that ebook right to a Kindle. I mean, how much easier does it get than that? The app is named Libby, Libby. And I almost don't want to tell you because I think this is so cool that I want to keep it to myself. But I want to share because I tried it this morning. I downloaded it, and I have a whole book on my Kindle for free. Now, it's just like getting a regular book from the library where you have a certain amount of time where you can lend it out. So I get this book for 21 days and then I have to, get it. I guess I have to renew what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not a lease, renewal, loan. I don't know. But anyway, they've got all the books. Now, I live in Los Angeles. It took me about 2 minutes to sign up through the app for a library card and done. Now, your mileage may vary depending on where you live, but it seems like they have deals with a lot of libraries out there, not just Los Angeles. And it's built with Overdrive. So if you've heard of this or if you've ever done this online lending, Overdrive is pretty much a very popular way to do this. And that's what's powering this app, Libby. And they've got ebooks and audiobooks. And I am so impressed with this app. I was able to find a popular book that is on, the top lists and loan it out. And it's very high tech. So it tells you, so now, full disclosure, some of these books you're not going to be able to get out because each library has a finite amount of books that they can lend, just like a physical book. Same thing with the ebook. So the ebook, some of them you'll see that it says you're going to have to wait about, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, to get this book in your possession. or I should say the ebook. But the fact that I can transfer this to my Kindle is just game-changing. And it's all free. Now, free from your local library. And it feels good because you're getting something from your local library. You're using the system that was put in place to kind of spread knowledge. So again, the app is called Libby. The website, libbyapp.com. And it's like discovering your local library all over again. But the fact that you can send this, you can read it in the app, by the way. But the fact that you can send it to a physical Kindle in one click is just amazing to me. So check it out. I thought it was really, really cool. And it's one of those things that you discover and you wonder why more people don't know about it. And that's why I'm sharing, because now you know about it. Again, Rich DeMuro, Rich on Tech here. We've got phone lines open at 8888 Ask Leo, 888-827-5536. Let's go to Jose in Norwalk. Jose, you're on with Rich.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, did you ever get books out from the regular library?
I haven't been in the library since I was a kid, and I'm 41 years old.
You got to go back. It's like
I know, right?
It's like a Barnes and Noble, but everything's free for the asking.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm actually gonna try it.
All right. What's on your mind?
So I have a Samsung S9 Plus, and I recently my screen started acting up. Half of the screen is like blue tint, and the other half is regular. So I took it into the T-Mobile store, and I told him I want to replace it. I'm under warranty. I have the insurance. I pay the monthly for the insurance, correct? So the guy tells me, well, this is going to have to be through the deductible. I said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, this is a damaged phone. I said, what do you mean? I've always been the type of person to keep my phone in a case as soon as I buy it, so that way I don't have any problems. So now, I don't mind paying a deductible as long as I dropped it or I broke the screen or anything like that. But now I have to pay a deductible because they say that it's called screen burn-in, and that's a part of the the procedure now, that if that happens to the phone, now it's physical damage, and I have to pay and the customer has to pay a deductible for it.
So it's a little gotcha. It's a little gotcha because you didn't. Are you running your phone 24/7?
I don't run my phone 24/7, but I do use it a lot. My kids always want to watch YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
how much is the deductible?
I think it's like $150.
Oh man, and you're already paying every month, so it's kind of like.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. So you don't mind paying it, but it's more the principle that you're saying, look, I didn't do anything. I just used my phone the way I used it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you're hitting me up. You're already getting my, what is it, $10 a month for the insurance?
Yeah. I think it's like 14, 12 or 14.
You're 12 or 14. That's a pretty premium insurance product, and is there any way you can talk them down? Maybe, would you be happy if they maybe took half of the price or something?
I haven't tried it. I was just pretty mad because, I just think that they should tell you, hey, what this type of phone, if you use it a lot or whatever, it's gonna bound to happen. And I've looked up on Samsung and I never seen anything, but I Googled it, and a lot of people have this problem. And I was like, man, I'm gonna start a class action. That crossed my mind because I just don't think that's fair. Oh,
I agree.
Another question would be, I'm looking to upgrade. That's the reason why I had I wanted to get the trade-in, because I wanted to upgrade, but something not Samsung with the same type of screen, what would you recommend? So I won't have this problem in the future.
I think this is an isolated thing. I think that, Samsung has some of the best screens out there. I think the fact that this happened to you is a fluke. I would talk to T-Mobile and do the best you can to maybe talk down or come up with an agreement that you might pay a little bit less, and tell them you're such a good customer. More of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. 1-888-827-5536. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today. We'll talk to you right after this. That's the reason why these insurance programs, it's like no matter what, you pay for the insurance, and then they want you to pay on top of the insurance. I mean, $150 when the guy's paying $12 a month. I mean, out of a year, that's $150, $144. So give him, come on. He didn't do the screen burn in. It's just the way the phone happened, and why should he be held accountable for that? I'll never forget, I bought remember when Samsung used to make the Google, what was it called? Google Play version of their phones. They only did it for a year or two, but it was like a vanilla version. It was like clean Android. And I bought I don't know what it was. Samsung Galaxy S, who knows what it was back in the day. 3 maybe? Could have been the 4. Oh, I wonder if I still have my receipt. I probably do. Samsung Google Play Edition. Let's see. Do I have it? Oh, here it is. Samsung Galaxy S4. There it is. That's what I bought. White Frost unlocked. And I'll never forget, I paid so much for this phone, and I pull it out of my pocket and it gets scratched right on the screen. Like second day I had this thing, I didn't have a screen protector on it. I was so mad because it was so expensive and there's nothing I could do. And so I sold it on eBay because I didn't want it anymore. Once it had the scratch on it, I couldn't deal with it. Every time I pulled it out of my pocket, that's all I saw. That's all I saw was the scratch. So now I've got a screen protector on my phone. No more scratches. And in fact, in the 3 weeks I've had this phone, I've already cracked the screen protector when I put it down, and I had to change the screen protector. So thankfully I had it on there because I would have ruined my entire screen already because I don't have insurance on this, which I know is probably stupid, but whatever. But I do love the case I have on it. You should check it out. It's called Smartish, Smartish, Smartish Kung Fu Grip. Oh, it's so good because I love grippy cases on the sides, and this one has great grip on the sides. It's almost like a wave pattern, and then it's got like almost like sandpapery. It's really great, except it's not sandpaper. It's really great, and it's only $12 on Amazon. How's that? I wonder, does Leo ever use the bell? I love the bell. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. I'm Rich DeMuro, filling in for Leo Laporte today. You've got phone lines open at 8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Give me a call if you have a question about technology, need a recommendation, trying to figure something out, or just need help. Karen is in Studio City, California. Sarah is in Studio City. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hi. I just got back from Vietnam and Cambodia, and a person that was in the group with me had Wi-Fi wherever she went. So if she was lost or wanted to find a store, we're walking around, she could just pull it right up. Well, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to Tokyo and tour and just do day trips out of Tokyo. And I'm going to be by myself, which is not so great, but I would love to be able to find where I am. You know, like I can go to Maps on my phone now, and it'll have a little blinking light, you are here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, first off, you travel a lot, huh? Cambodia, Vietnam, and now Tokyo. Is this for work?
Well, sort of. I'm a professional artist.
Oh, wow.
So I go and photograph things that I think I might want to paint. And now in Tokyo, I have 6 paintings that are going to be in the museum, the Tokyo Museum of Art there. So
wow.
I'm going to celebrate.
Good for you. That's great.
Career high.
That's amazing. I love this. I mean, you've done as an artist. I mean, that's like the top of the heap right there, right?
Not quite, but yeah.
Well, we'll take it, right, Sarah?
I'm going for it. Yes, I'm going for it.
So here's my first question. Now, here's the deal. So I've been to, have you ever been to Japan?
No.
Okay.
That's the thing. I don't know anything that's what's in the book.
So it used to be really tricky with connectivity over in Tokyo. Like when I first went, my first year, I remember going from the plane to my hotel, which was over an hour and a half with zero service because my phone did not work. And it really, there's a whole nother story there, but I'm not going to explain because it's kind of crazy. But
Then I'll call you from LA.
Yes, I'll tell you when you have some time. But it was bad. So now, first off, how come you don't want to use your phone? Because your phone will work over there. Do you have AT&T or T-Mobile?
No, I do want to use my phone. That's what I want to find out. How can I do this? Because I brought my laptop with me and my phone on my trip, but I ended up not even looking at my laptop the whole time I was in Vietnam and Cambodia. So I realized, light bulb, I've got a computer in my hand.
So did your phone not work in Cambodia?
It did, but I didn't want to look for maps or anything like that because I was afraid I was going to get charged.
Okay, right. So what's your phone company?
AT&T.
Okay, so AT&T has something called it's like Passport, and it's $10 a day. And for that $10 a day, your phone pretty much works the way it does here in the States. And that is what I generally recommend at this point. I used to get what's called a hotspot, like your friend probably had, and you would rent it, and you would have it in your backpack, and you would just use it, just keep it in your backpack, and you would use it as a Wi-Fi hotspot. But the reality is now these cell phone carriers offer this Passport plan, and Verizon has something similar where it's $10 a day where your phone pretty much works the same way that it does here in the States. And I find that to be a lot easier. I know in a week that's going to be $70 and you don't get full data, but you do get a bunch of data, and I think you'd probably be just fine. And it's just the easiest way. And I think that, if you add that beforehand, it is pretty easy to do it that way. Are you opposed to that and you still want to do the Wi-Fi thing?
Well, I'm going to be there 2 weeks, and I was just afraid that, it would get cost prohibitive. But it's being locked in, they don't have a lot of English on their sign.
No, and they don't. A lot of people there don't speak English either. They really don't.
I can get along in Korea. I know Korean enough to get along. But Japan is a whole nother world for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely there's not that many people that will speak English over there, and also a lot of things are different. Like the way you pay, everyone uses this certain. It's called like a Suica card. So a lot of times you'll find that you can't even use your credit card over there, which is kind of crazy.
Ouch, I didn't know that.
Yeah, at some of like the small places, I think I would look into the AT&T thing first. I think that would be the simplest. I know you're going for 2 weeks, but the other thing is it's only on the days you use it. So a couple other things I would do. Now, do you have an iPhone or Android?
I have an iPhone.
Okay. So with iPhone, you can download offline maps on Google Maps. Do you know about that?
No, I've just been taking pictures of maps.
Okay. So if you go into Google Maps, you'll see on the map itself, you can go into the menu and you kind of type in Tokyo, and then you go to the menu and it says offline maps, and you can download an offline map for Tokyo, which means your phone will still work. It'll have all the maps built in so that you don't have to worry about using data for the maps. It'll just use a little tiny bit of data if you decide to do that other thing where you go with a Passport. The other thing I would say, I actually find that for some reason, Apple Maps actually works better in Japan than Google Maps for some reason. And I'm not sure why, but keep that in mind as well if you're walking around, because I find that sometimes it gets a lock on the GPS and it just finds its way better than Google Maps. I'm not sure why that is. But
and what did you call that? iMaps?
Apple Maps.
Apple Maps. Okay.
Yeah. So also consider that. Now, if you want a Wi-Fi hotspot, I used to have a company that I rented from, and I love doing this, and I actually used it in Japan a lot, but they're no longer in business. They actually went out of business because they said too many people are just using their phones nowadays. So they were a company out of San Diego, and they don't do that anymore. So if I were you, I would, if you want to get the Wi-Fi, which is usually unlimited, you would just go on Google and search for a Japan Wi-Fi hotspot rental, and you'll find there's a couple of companies that will pop up, and you can rent these. There's a whole bunch, and the way they work is they will deliver it to your house here in the States before you leave, and then you just drop it in the mail when you're done, and that's usually a flat fee.
Oh, it's a physical item.
Right, it's a physical item, and again, it's a little bit trickier to do it that way, I think. I think that the best way to do it, and I travel a lot, is really just through your carrier, and it's just going to be the easiest way to do it. I really do think that's the case. Now, the other thing you could do, since you said you have an iPhone, you can actually activate an eSIM, and so you can activate what's basically a separate phone number just for Japan. And if you go to a website called airalo.com, type in Japan, and you can actually find what's called an eSIM for Japan, and you can activate it on your phone here. And what I'm seeing is it's $13 for unlimited data for 5 days. So that's pretty good. So maybe check out that as well. So, and then
would you air? I'm sorry, it was air.
airalo.com, and you can check out that as well. The other thing you could do, and worst comes to worst, and I used to do this a lot, but you can buy a SIM card at the airport. I don't necessarily recommend that because it's a little complicated to do that. You got to pop open your phone. You got to do all this stuff. You can do it, but maybe if you get to the airport, just look into the Wi-Fi hotspot rental for Japan if you don't want to go through AT&T. But I would check out AT&T first. That's the main thing. Okay. Check out AT&T. I believe it's called Passport. And just call them up and see. I mean, just see what the deal is with that. And I think that's the simplest way to get through what you're going to need over there. Does that help?
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I do watch you in the morning.
Oh, well, thank you, Sarah. And I'll be looking forward. Send me a snapshot of one of the pieces of art. I'm curious to see them.
Okay. The ones that I'm showing in Tokyo are Native American portraitures.
Very cool. Love to hear it. Awesome. Have a safe trip over there. You are listening to the Tech Guy Radio Show. 1-8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte. More of your calls after this. Yeah, I think the eSIM thing is awesome. Well, Bleak Choo Choo, you are in a chat room on IRC, and believe me, I know that you're probably a little more advanced than a lot of people. So I know it sounds easy to you, but if you ever asked my mom to change a SIM in her phone, she would have no idea what that meant. And so I can't really recommend that to someone who is, it'd just be way too complicated. But I think the eSIM thing, probably could work. And yeah, this website is great, isn't it? The Airalo is such a cool website. Such a cool website. This is going to be my go-to with the eSIMs from now on because that's the easiest way. Although I just like doing it through Verizon. I just literally go and buy whatever the $10 a day. Although I will say, last time I was in China, I did blow through my data because they only give you, I think, I forget what the word was. I forget how much it was. I think they give me 2 gigs. I forget whatever it was. I went way too fast through that. All right, now you've heard what I had to say. Let's hear from Leo. What's up?
I'm going to interrupt Rich one more time. I will be back next week. Thank you so much, Rich, for filling in for me. You do such a great job. Of course, Rich is on KTLA all the time. You can watch him on TV in Los Angeles. And God willing, I'll take more vacations, and Rich will be right back here. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it. Our show today brought to you by FreshBooks. I had to come back and do this because I used FreshBooks for a long time. It was a lifesaver. I did all my invoicing in FreshBooks, and what's cool about FreshBooks, when you do your invoicing with them, it's also a full accounting solution. So it makes running your business a breeze. When you're a freelancer, when you're a small business, it's hard to know if you're making money at any given time. Like you find out at tax time, I guess. With FreshBooks, I knew every single day. I just go to the FreshBooks dashboard, and there it is. Profit or loss, mostly profit. It also saved me so much time in invoicing. I was going up to Canada doing a TV show. I had to invoice in Canadian dollars, something, and firing up the spreadsheet and the Microsoft Word. And it got to be such a pain. I'd get to points where I'd just say, I'm not going to do it this month. But I learned a really important lesson. If you don't invoice, you don't get paid. And I can tell you, the accounting department at Rogers was not happy when I sent them 6 months of invoices all at once. Thank goodness Amber told me about FreshBooks. It made it so much easier. You can automate tasks like invoicing, but also organizing expenses. The FreshBooks app, you just take a picture of the receipt. It goes right into the invoice. I love that. Time tracking, too, on the app. You can even follow up with clients just a couple of clicks on the website or on the app. With FreshBooks, you can run your business anywhere, and it integrates with all the stuff you already use. In fact, they just added Google Sign-In. I love this. You get all the security of Google, including two-factor. It's like having a security force standing guard over your private information. Security's better, but it's also more convenient. And you can limit or revoke access to third-party sites very quickly, very easily. It doesn't get better than that. Simplicity and security with the Google Sign-In. If you already use FreshBooks and you have a Google account, try it. It's from now on, you log in with the sign-in. It just pops up a message on your phone and says you approve. You say yes, you're in. It's one click away from making that happen right now if you already have a FreshBooks account, so try it. FreshBooks is used and trusted by small business owners in over 120 countries, and they are so nice. Their customer service, straight from their offices in Toronto, includes phone, email, live chat. Friendly, happy, nice people. I love these guys. Make running your business easier and more efficient with FreshBooks. You want to try it free? FreshBooks.com/TechGuy, but you do have to put the Tech Guy in the How Did You Hear About Us field, if you will. 30 days free. FreshBooks.com/TechGuy. Put the Tech Guy in the How Did You Hear About Us section. That way they know I told you about it, which is good for me. Look, FreshBooks saved my life. Let it save your business. FreshBooks.com/TechGuy for 30 days free. Now back to Rich.
Thank you, Leo. Welcome back to The Tech Guy, the show where we talk about technology and help you out with all of your gadgets. My name is Rich DeMuro, sitting in today for Leo Laporte. You can see me on Twitter at Rich DeMuro, Instagram at RichOnTech, where I shared a cool behind the scenes here at the studio so you can see how the show gets done. It's pretty cool. Lots of wires, let's put it that way. Harriet is in Los Angeles. Harriet, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Rich.
Hey.
My problem is that, my husband somehow signed up for something on Skype where they charged his credit card. He got sick. He couldn't remember his different passwords. He couldn't get onto his different devices. He eventually passed away. I don't know any of what this is about. And I'm having a very hard time getting them to stop an automatically recurring charge on the credit card. I've tried through the bank twice. I tried chatting. It's a horrible experience with Skype. Tried certified letter. Nothing has helped. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, wow. Well, first off, sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Oh, that's got to be tough. How long ago did this happen? How long has this been going on?
A few months,
and
at least. Maybe we paid it without. I didn't know what it was. Maybe I just paid the credit card bill. But the last two times, I tried to dispute the charge the previous charge, but Skype denied it. I'm trying again now. I'll see what happens on this go round. I tried sending a certified letter to call me, please. They didn't. Microsoft kind of doesn't want to really deal with it.
How much is the charge?
It was $38 last time, and it's $76 this time, and I don't know why.
And do you know what it's for?
I don't, unless it was for the ability. I really don't know.
Well, number one, dump the credit card company, because the fact that you told them this story that you just told me and they are not canceling this charge is just totally out of line. Would you agree?
I do, but this time I talked to a supervisor, so he's trying a little harder, and I have to wait and see what the response to that will be.
Is this a card that you care about? I mean, can you...
Not at all. I will drop it and get rid of it. However, I read online that they can ding your credit if you do that and don't try to get away from a recurrent charge by dropping the card or something.
I wouldn't worry about that. I think number one, you got to get on the line. I mean, the fact that you have to deal with this loss and then deal with a card company, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's ridiculous. The fact that
I appreciate your sympathy. I really do.
The fact that they wouldn't immediately say, Harriet, we're going to get this figured out. You never have to call us again. I can't even believe that this has gone on more than one time.
Oh, yeah.
So I would do this. Now, here's the problem. I would say just ask for a new card number, because sometimes, you can just say, hey, I want a new card, and that would stop the charge. But what happens is these credit card companies actually share the new card number with recurring subscriptions a lot of times to keep those seamless and going. So I would say...
I have found that out,
yes, right? Isn't that kind of tricky? Most people don't...
How do you charge a card? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You think, I'm going to change my card and it will stop, but it doesn't.
Yeah, no.
So that's number one. Number two, so you talked to Microsoft and they said they can't stop the charge. What was their reasoning?
I didn't actually talk to Microsoft. I talked to Skype. Well, I chatted with Skype, and eventually, I think it was a chat. They just said, well, you have to, we'll send you a code to his email. I said, I can't get into his email.
Right.
So what good does that do me?
Yeah, that's tricky. So you don't have access to the email, so that's why you can't just cancel it on there.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, it sounds like you have to maybe call Skype again and get a more compassionate customer service rep on the line that can help you cancel this, explain the situation. I know it's tough. I know you don't want to keep going and going through this, but explain it to them one more time and just explain what you just said to me, that you don't have access to the account. You got to cancel it. They may say for security reasons you can't. Say, well, look, I will send you what you need to show that I have, that I can have access to this account. And then the second thing is I would call the credit card company and just really, are you good at raising a little bit of, you know what?
I'll get better at it.
Because this is just one of those things that it's just, you shouldn't have to be dealing with this. And
right, and I imagine other people are too, so I just wish somebody could do something about it.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to, if I can say that on the iPad that I have now, the accessibility for taking screenshots is very good. It took me a little while to figure it out, but on an iPad, you have to put one finger way over there and one over there, and it's not easy to get the screenshot. So it just gives you one little virtual button to press on the screen, and it's very helpful for screenshots.
I like this, Harriet. You've been figuring out the little tips and tricks on the iPad. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's like the virtual home button. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, this one has a regular home button, but if you go into settings and get the accessibility, and you have to make a few errors along the way, but you finally figure out that you tell them you want to do the accessibility for the screenshot, and then with a little trial and error, it works great now.
That's excellent. Well, that's a good little tip. Thanks for sharing that with everyone.
What was the photo one you had first thing on the show that would fit with the lightning drive to save your photos to it?
Oh, yeah. That's called the Sandisk I Expand. IXPAND. And you can just plug it into the bottom of your phone and get those photos onto the flash drive to save them.
Okay. Very good.
How are you doing otherwise? You okay?
I'm getting a lot of nice support from friends and family, so yeah.
Good to hear, Harriet. All right, and please let me know the status of this whole thing, and drop that credit card if you have to. If they're not going to give you some satisfaction on this, just get rid of them. And there's plenty of credit card companies out there. Don't worry about your credit. I think you'll be just fine. And if you had to explain to anyone why you had to get rid of that company, I think you can easily do a good job of that. Harriet in Los Angeles, thanks so much for being on the Tech Guy Radio Show. Man, this is one of these things where I sit here and I love calling companies like this and just saying what I need done, and I'm going to get it done no matter what. Because if I'm doing business with you and I have a credit card through you and I'm telling you what's happening with my card, and in fact, I've disputed charges over the years, and I'm just waiting for one of these companies to say, that dispute came back where we're not going to accept that dispute. I'm just waiting for them to say that so I can be like, all right, go ahead, cancel the card. And I only have one credit card, so that'd be a problem because I'd have to figure out a new one if I did that. But so far, so good. And nowadays, you can actually dispute a lot of these charges right online from your account online, which makes it very easy to do that. And sometimes I've noticed with some of these smaller charges, like let's say it's under $20, they'll just immediately close the dispute because they don't want to have to deal with it. They don't want to have to go. Normally, the way a dispute works with your credit card, they have to go to the other company. They've got to figure out what their side of things are, come back to you, maybe ask for some documentation. That's if it's a big amount. But if it's a small amount, $10, $15, if there's a charge on your card that you don't know, you don't recognize, you think it's something that you really feel like you got charged for and you shouldn't, especially with all these recurring subscriptions that are happening nowadays, dispute it and don't pay for it. Don't pay for something that you're not using. I mean, all these companies, all they want to do is they want to get your credit card so that they've got that little tap into your credit card account at all times, and they can charge you and you see, it's $4, it's $5, it's too much to deal with. Dispute it. Get rid of it. Don't pay for stuff you're not using. That's what I think. You're listening to the Tech Guy radio show. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today. We'll have some more of your questions after this at 8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Welcome back to the Tech Guy. Oh, listen to this song. So nice. Who will always love me here? I don't know, but I love it. Phone lines are open, 8888 Ask Leo. I think I have time for one more call here. Greg is in Apple Valley. Greg, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rich, how you doing? Great job.
I recognize this voice.
I've got a TV question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, this time last year, I wanted to upgrade to a 4K TV. I was looking at a 2011. What I had was a 11 model Samsung upper-end TV. Watch mostly DirecTV, a lot of sports and movies on the DirecTV. So I bought last year, when the prices went down, I bought pretty much top-of-the-line Sony TV, a Z9D.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that model. I plug it in, and it was horrifying how bad the upscaling was watching 720p and 1080i. And I couldn't believe it. I put the old TV back up. Sure enough, like watching football, the old TV would get the full blades of grass, perfect detail in people. I'd get clay face on the Z9D, blotching of the grass. And, they're selling you that upscaling chip, you can see God with it.
Yeah.
And now, a year later, a TV's gone out, have to actually replace it.
Wait, after 1 year?
Well, I brought it back. It was so bad.
Oh.
Now, since that time frame, now a TV's gone out, and I have to replace one.
Okay, got it.
I'm wondering, is that going to be with the same viewing of 80% DirecTV box, 1080i, 720p? Are almost all 4K TVs going to have a problem upscaling where the older TV actually looks better?
Well, I'm not a fan of upscaling in general, just because it's, you're talking, it has to go through a system to do that.
Right,
and it's not,
right.
it's going to not be a perfect system. So I would say avoid that if you can. So you're trying to get things to look better on your 4K TV, basically, from DirecTV?
I haven't bought one now, but now I'm in a position where a TV has gone out and I have to replace one. And I'm wondering if, all 4K TVs are going to struggle with upscaling, since 80% of my viewing is from DirecTV, which is 720p, 1080i.
I mean, I would think so. I don't do any upscaling on my TV. And so I think that if it's not native, it's probably not something you want. And I think especially with sports, because that's such a fast image on the screen, that's going to be the trickiest to upscale, wouldn't you think?
Yes, but even past the motion, the clarity was just such a jarring drop down. I'm wondering, now I'm in a position where I pretty much have to replace a TV. There's really no options. Everything's 4K. And am I going to go through the same nightmare where you get a brand new TV and it looks worse than the older one?
Yeah, I hear you. I would think that you don't have to do the upscaling. You don't have to get that as a feature. If it on some of the HDMI ports, if you want to activate it for something like a DVD or whatever. But I don't think you need to do it that way. I watch everything just in native. The bigger problem is that nobody's got 4K content right now, except for the Netflixes of the world and the YouTubes, but all the broadcast channels, none of them are doing 4K. I think on DirecTV, I had one 4K channel that I could never get to work.
That's my predicament, is that what I watch, there's not that much content, so all the sports is basically in 720p, or a few 1080i, And getting a new TV, I'm wondering if I'm going to go through the same thing. I mean, what you're saying, native, everything is broadcast in the 1080i 720p that I watch, so it's never going to be native to a 4K TV.
Right.
I'm just wondering, have they gotten any progression in the upscaling where I'm not going to see a difference, especially such a negative difference.
Yeah, the negative difference is not good. I mean, I think that it's probably gotten better in the past year, but I think that it depends on the TV. What brand are you looking at this time?
A good deal seems to be a Sony 900F.
Okay.
$1,100 for the 65-inch, but then I'm back with the same chipset basically, and wondering if I should spend some more money. You can't really get that question answered at your local brick and mortar store because they've got the fantastic loops going with the specialized 4K material that they've specially done to promote the TVs. So you're, shooting in the dark. It's a bring home and check it out thing.
Well, it says that the Sony 4K TV uses X-Motion clarity technology for showing smooth, lifelike action during sporting events, but that's not your experience.
You're back to motion, though, again, not actual clarity of the TV.
Right. Well, I would say maybe try again, see what happens, but I would see if you can turn off the upscaling and just go with the way it is. And when you've got the 4K, use the 4K, but if not, just don't. But I understand you want the best of what this TV can offer.
Exactly, for what I'm using it at. I'm not as much of a streamer or a gamer, which I say they look fantastic once you're in 4K, but once again, I'm dealing with a lesser signal that it has to mess with.
And do you have Netflix or any of that? Because Netflix...
Amazon Prime.
And they do 4K. They do a lot of 4K.
But we're talking limited movies, old TV shows. I'm, once again, a big sports nut. So, like I said, 80% of my viewing is basically 720p, 1080i, and they've kind of left that whole regime behind for 4K, but it doesn't seem to work as good when you're viewing the 720p, 1080i.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Yes. Yeah, I hear you. Well, do your research, get the new TV, see what it looks like, and just hope for the best. And let's just hope that some of these sporting events will get better, and maybe one day we'll have some 4K broadcast stuff in the U.S.
That's what I thought. Thanks for your input. I appreciate it.
All right, Greg. Thank you. Appreciate the call. I did something this morning. I am planning ahead for spring break. I know, crazy, but my kids have off, and so does my wife. They're all in school. My wife works at a school. So they all have spring break lined up magically, and of course I have to take off work. But anyway, so I was booking flights this morning, and I've been watching these flights now for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And let me tell you, when I get that alert from Google Flights that the flight has gone to a price that I think is pretty reasonable, you jump on it. And I've learned my lesson many, many times. I live in Los Angeles. I'm from New Jersey, so I've flown back and forth many, many times. I fly for work a lot. And one thing I've noticed about airline prices, the moment you start watching an airline price is the next time you go to check it, it's gone up. It just happens. Everyone says it. And it happens to me, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, it might go down a little bit, but it never goes back to that original price that you saw and you said, I should have booked it when I had the chance. Article out of Mashable talks about how to trick the internet for the best deals on flights. So you've heard the things, don't buy tickets on weekends, buy them on Tuesdays, wait until 3 days before the flight, never search for the same flight more than 3 times, log out of your browser. It's really tricky. But here's what I found that works, and I think a lot of the things that they talk about in this article, private browsing, you can't really do that. When you search for flights, yes, they're tracking you, but they're not going to make your flight price go up just because you started watching it. It just happens. The reality is algorithms are controlling flights. The prices of flights are set by computers on a daily, hourly, minute-by-minute basis. You could search for a flight now, and it may be one price. You search for that same flight tomorrow, and it's a different price. My advice, and what I seem to find to work, is to track the prices on Google Flights, set an alert for the exact flights you want. If it's already at a price that you think is reasonable and you're waiting for it to go down, just book it, because it's guaranteed to go up. And then if it does go down, just book it, because that's the reality. But it says that you might save a few dollars by waiting, but usually that's not worth it. And also, don't forget, the longer you wait, the worse seat you get. People, they book these flights in advance, and the longer you wait, if you're traveling with a family, you're not going to get seats together. Kayak says you're going to find the best prices 4 months in advance of holiday travel. So those are some good advice. Tuesday, by the way, it's a good day to fly because, it's a cheaper day to fly. That's the reality of it. But it's all algorithms, guys. So if you see a flight price you like, book it. By the way, good app on iOS, Flighty. All right, thanks so much for everyone here for letting me host the Leo Laporte Tech Guy radio show, including Leo, Lisa, Kim, Colleen, Burke, John, Laura, Robin, and of course, you. My name is Rich DeMuro. It's been a pleasure to sit in this seat. Thanks so much for listening. Have a fantastic day.
Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.